So as you make more and more offers, walk more and more houses, your feel for the rehab is just gonna get better and better and better. At first, you're gonna be lost. But for sure, all properties are gonna, like, even if it looks so clean, like, man, this house doesn't need nothing, it's gonna be like at least 30. Like, just to start, like, throw 30,000 on that repair, your offer, because even if it's clean, like I've had houses, they're so clean, right? And I'm like, man, I'm gonna kill it. I'm thinking 15, 10 for the rehab. I go in, I'm already at 25. Like, damn, quick, you know? It's because it's very expensive. But I think that's a good number for him. For y'all, since you're just starting, I think 10K on a pier and beam house is solid. Obviously, if you're walking it, you can feel it like crazy. Just in your head, leave more room on that budget. HVAC, new systems are anywhere, like I would put at least 6 to 8K for new systems at least. When you're repairing houses, there's two different companies. There's investor-friendly contractors. They know the investor pricing. And then, like, you're not gonna call John Wayne AC. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're gonna charge you 12K to install a unit. You know, so you gotta start finding investor-friendly contract. Me, myself, I was an investor-friendly contractor myself. So there's different pricing, right? Residential contractors and investor contracts. So just know that. Electrical, if you have to rewire a whole house, you can put 10K right there. But most houses don't need full rewires. These are old houses. Who knows when you need a rewire? Like, what are some signs? So you can go to the breaker box. If you have fuses, this is gonna need a whole rewire, because that means there's no ground. So if you look at the plugs, you see this right here? This is your ground right here. They'll be missing this right here. There's no ground on it. So you'll need to rewire the whole thing, because your investor will try to flip it, and the inspector is gonna be like, nope, we're not gonna pass that. Keep it in consideration, right? So you always want to give yourself room, right? Don't shoot yourself in the foot on repairs. If you think it's a little bit more, put a little bit more, because that's only gonna help you if you get the property, because that's just more room for your wholesale fee, right? But you can't do the opposite way. If you make it too small, and then your investor's like, nah, man, this isn't 30, this is 50, and you were supposed to make 10, you got to go get 30K off, and that's, you just shot yourself in the foot, because nobody's gonna do that. You know, it's gonna be a lot harder, more challenging. A roof, this like I said, it's the same thing. Like, there's residential, and then there's investor friendly. This all depends on the square footage of the, and then you got decking too. If you got to replace decking, boom, it goes higher. Then you start opening stuff up, and if the decking's gone, then you got to go rafters. Like, it just all depends on a roof, but mostly you just got to do shingles most of the time. But a really, really old house that's just bad, and it's the wood's all soft and everything, you gotta replace decking. I mean, you just never know. But real quick, like you said, it goes by square. You gotta start talking like a contractor to get good prices. When you call a roofer, hey, how much do you charge per square? He already knows, like, all right, he knows what's up a little bit. Let me talk, you know what I mean? Because if you're just a residential guy and you're like, hey, I need my roof replaced. All right, I'll go take a look. It's a whole different price. You know what I mean? So you gotta start talking like a contractor too, to get contractor pricing. Like, for like a little 1,000 square foot house, like, so I'm going like 4 to 8 max for, but he's like, but this is being safe. 20K is, I don't know if you'd ever put 20K flip on a roof. That's gonna be a big ass roof. I would say anywhere from 5 to 10 is a good for like a flips. And then plumbing, oh, this is the one, like, you gotta be a damn plumber to know plumbing, like, cause you can't walk, I mean, unless, if it's slab, you're just taking a risk, because if your house is unleveled, the plumbing's inside the slab. So when you level it, you could break pipes. It's a gamble. That's why I like pier and beam houses. I don't got nothing to worry about. Everything's loose under there. So when you level it, everything's accessible. You could get quotes and all that real quick. You know how much, what's wrong with it. You know how much it's gonna cost. But a slab, that's where things get tricky. I've seen people, they buy slabs that are broken. They put a budget of just a slab, and then all of a sudden they got a 10K plumbing, unexpected. And then they're breaking foundation, and it could get bad. So if you've never done a flip, stay away from slabs that are real off. Unless you just put a real big, like an extra 10K for plumbing. That's just to be safe. And if you don't need it, that just goes more profit, right? So just be very careful with that. And then cosmetics, that's actually very important. Well, it just depends what you need. I don't really do much, like, on it, unless it's like iron or something. I'm trying to flip it, but I don't really buy those houses. Those are really old houses. Like, if it's all iron, like, damn, it's an old ass house. Really, I don't really mess with too much plumbing, to be honest, unless I'm just adding bathrooms and stuff like that. But that's like really the only times I'm doing it personally. What else? Cosmetics is very important right here. So flooring, I'll give you all the basics. How much does anybody know prices on flooring? Like, how much, what's the install price on tile? Does anybody know, per square foot? So a good rate is about $1.50, solid. But it could go more or less, right? Go $2, $2.50. But you can find people that do it for $1.50. I used to get it for $1. Laminate can still get installed for $1. Formula for cosmetics, like per square footage. Okay, so cosmetics, I would say honestly, for cosmetics, a good rule of thumb is about $30 a square foot. So if it's 1,000 square feet, about 30K. to go do the flooring, redo the kitchen, the bath, the paint, the texture, etc. Just cosmetics. So we're not talking about the big ones right here. So I think 30 more or less is a good, just cosmetics. Okay, 1,500 square foot house, 45, right? And that's kind of high, but that's good, right? You want to be high. You want to be high. That's a good rule of thumb right there, 30 a square foot, and that's just cosmetics. So for like plumbing, for instance, you could do what's called a static test. So you could see if there's leaks in there. That's one thing that's like 300 bucks. Yeah, absolutely. If you got a slab foundation, I recommend it. Not everybody does it, but I do. If I was to buy it, I would do a static test. It's only about a few $100, and that tells you if there's leaks in your lines. But for everything else is like, you know, foundation, they got to get their own bids. So most of the guys know what they're doing. You know, you're in a solid range. And so when you're wholesaling though, you got to tell them, do your own due diligence, because after you give me this earnest money, it's hard. Like, you can't get it back. You don't worry about that though, right? You just, hey, do you like it? Personally, we try to stay away from giving repair prices because, bro, like, if you give me a house and you give another random person this house, let's just say four of us get the same house, we're gonna have 4 different bids. No like exact number, right? So we try to give an estimate, like, hey, more or less, we estimate it to be about 45K. But somebody might go in there and do 35K. Somebody might go in there and say it's 60. But like I said, if you give me 4 of us the same house, we're gonna come with 4 different bids. Completely, it can range 10, 20, 30K. That's repairs right there. You just gotta walk more houses, make more offers, and you'll get good at it. Like, it'll be like, it's to the point where David could probably just walk a house and be like, it's this number. Yeah. And he's like on or off 5K. So, you know, you just gotta do more offers. What do you wanna make? Exactly. So this would be your maximum allowable offer. We'll put that right there. Maximum allowable offer would be 125. If you can lock this house up at 125, you just made some money. All right. And if you're flipping it, you can buy it at that price. But if you want to wholesale it, now what's the next step? Well, it's worth 250. We took off 70%. That's 175. We subtracted the repairs of 50K. That leaves us with the max allowable offer of 125. Subtract your fee. So what would you subtract? Your wholesale fee. You want to make 10K? Okay, so if you want to make 10, then you'd probably subtract 20. Because nobody's ever going to say yes to your first answer. You know, it's a game, right? It's a negotiations. Personally, I try to go wide as possible. You know what, sir? It needs a lot of work. I'm going to need this about 80. You know what I mean? You just got to test the waters out. See, and if he's like, hell no, I need this. Like, because it's called an anchor, right? So you're anchoring. If you say 80, he's going to be like, what? Either he's going to cuss you out, he's going to tell you to leave, or he's going to give you his bottom number. He's going to be like, 80, it's called an anchor. He'll be like, man, hell, the lowest I'll do is 100. Boom, he's got his lowest number. Damn, you see how that works? So like, okay, sir, let me think about that. I don't know, that sounds kind of high, right? And then you never, and that's another step. You never want to agree to a number because that gives what's called seller's remorse. Because if they say, no, the lowest I'll take is 100, and you're like, all right, cool, yeah, let's do it, I'll do it. He's gonna be like, oh, hold on, I think I'm letting this go too cheap, right? It's called seller's remorse. He's gonna either ghost you or he's just gonna block you because like he's like, damn, I think I could have got more. You know what I mean? So you always want to make it seem like you're stretching. You want to do that little sucking your teeth, you know? Damn, I don't know, why so much, man? You know what I mean? You always got to do that. And you got to act like you're stretching it out. Like, man, 100? I got to get, man, I don't think I could do that much. Go ahead. If you know you're in the money and he's cooperating, he's talking, it's always better to just lock that thing up. Like, you just do these tactics, I'm telling you, just don't be too over, like, oh, excited. Always act like you're stretching, like, man, I don't think I could do that, man. Like, what if I could do 90, man? 90, nah, man, 100. Like, let me make a phone call real quick. Act like you're making a phone call. Dude, can you do 95? I'll do it right now. Nah, man, 100. Look, man, all right, we'll do 100, man. I need a flip. Like, you know what I mean? They always come at it like that because then you want him to think, like, damn, I got him. You know what I mean? That's because then he doesn't have that remorse. Anything under this is your wholesale fee, okay? And if y'all ever have these deals as well and you can't find a buyer, hit me up. We'll sell it for you, all right? And most of the times we try to make y'all money. So we're like, hey, look, if you get it for 125, you can give it to me here at 125. I'm still going to try to put money on top because that's how good we are at what we do. So I'll sell this for more than 70%, right? So you can make your money and we make our money. So that's, we stand behind like how good we are at what we do, right? Does anybody have any questions on this? Because we're looking at 70%, so that means anything we offer has to have at least 30% equity. But if it has less than that, it's not a deal. Like, if the house is worth 100 and it's 12% equity, that means he owes 88, so he has 12% equity. But you need that house at like 60 to make a deal, to wholesale it. You know what I mean? So you need at least 30% equity to sell to an investor, for an investor to make money. And this all varies, guys. This is like the basic. This is like the basic, okay? There's so many variables, but this is just the basics rule of thumb. 70% doesn't always have to be that way. Like if I have a house in Stone Oak, badass neighborhood that anybody would want to buy, I could go way higher than 70%. I go like 82, 85%. But if I have a little house on the west side and it's in a bad neighborhood and it's falling over, then I might even have to go lower than this. Maybe somebody doesn't want to buy it at 70%. Maybe they want to buy it at 60% because there's not a lot more, there's not enough buyers that would want to, it's not desirable. So this number is like a basic rule of thumb. Like if you got it at this, you got a solid chance at making money. You just market it. Buyers are really hard to find right now. That's like what we, like true buyers are very hard to find because the interest rates right now, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, it was easier to find a buyer. Like the deals were hard to find. Now it's switched because of the market. So now it's easy to get deal, or for us, it's easy to get deals, but it's hard to move them. So even us, like we're really, really good at selling deals and we struggle. But I mean, you could, like we call reverse MLS. So for instance, reverse MLS is where you go to Zillow and you can see all the flips that are done in the same neighborhood. And you just call all the realtors that listed the property, right? So if you have a house on, by Woodlawn Lake, we're talking about Woodlawn, and you go on Zillow and you zoom in on Woodlawn and you look for all the sold houses and you look for the ones that look like they just got flipped, you just click on it and you can call the realtors that listed it. Be like, hey, I saw you just listed a flip. Was that a flipper? Well, I have one down the street. Facebook Marketplace. So the thing with that though, that we have trouble with is there's a lot of wholesalers on there. So you say like, hey, I got a deal. And then people be like, yeah, I'm the end buyer. And then you're like, hey, no option period. They're like, oh, the ghost. Like, you know what I mean? So it's hard to find true buyers, but that's what we specialize in. But I'll just give you some free tips, like how you could do it. And we just grind it out. Like, you know what I mean? Like we have 5 guys in here that are just calling all day. Are you buying? Are you qualifying? Getting them, like, we're doing hard work in here. It's not easy. It's not like, oh, you get a deal, you just go pick up the phone and sell it. We wish it was that easy, but it's hard. Like it's like a whole nother process. Just how hard it is to get a deal, it's the same thing to sell a deal. So that's why we have a big team here, because everybody specializes in one part of the strategy, right? In order for us to do a lot of deals. But yeah, that's 2 ways right there. So real quick, option period is the time you have to terminate the contract. It's all good. Like you clean your hands with it. They can't do anything legal. Another way too is some people put no option and they put a low earnest money. And if they don't close, they just lose their earnest money. But if you get sticklers, they can sue you for not closing a property. And you can go to court for that. Yes, we do. How much? It just depends, like 1% on a property. No, you can put whatever you want, $10. Yeah, don't go under 10. Don't go under $10. Okay, so that's step 2. Can I see the marker real quick? So step 1 was what? ARV. I'm gonna have, and then step 2, repairs. And then with these 2, you can come up with your offer.